A huge moo to the herd and welcome to episode 21 of our Omnifactory playthrough. So between episodes I let our passive EBFs run along and they got me the desired levels of the various items, and I've added in the vibrant alloy one so you can see the energetic alloy and ender pearls are just sitting there because the machine's disabled because we've got 4 stacks of vibrant alloy. I added aluminium in. Again, we already had more than 4 stacks of aluminium ingots. It was that one actually. And energetic alloy was working perfectly. One thing I did do is I added stainless steel dust in. I've just handcrafted up the stainless steel dust for now. I'm working on a process for getting this all done automatically. And I noticed something. So I'd set it up for 4 stacks of stainless steel. And it never seemed to shut down. And I never seemed to have 4 stacks of stainless steel until I came down to here and found my stainless steel ingots were sitting in the input bus, which was very bizarre, but quite logical when you think about it. So I have an item conduit coming from here and going into the interface down here. And then here is a conveyor that is taking the stuff from the interface and putting it into the input bus. So, oops, it was taking all the stainless steel and putting it straight back into the input bus, not going anywhere. So temporarily to fix that, I've put an item filter. Item filters are 8 zinc foils and a steel plate, and just filtering to only allow stainless steel dust through. So obviously I've got some more work to do on getting the passive setup on these done properly. So I will work on that between episodes, try and make them a little bit more resilient, I think is the word. The other thing I did was I added a pattern. I go into my crafts for loop fabricators and dark steel machines, because I've now added a whole row of additional loop fabricators, as you can see here. So we had one row of 10 before, we've now got an additional row. That's because today's episode I want to focus on getting more resources from deep mob learning. One of the reasons we changed the glass smeltering over to the multi-smelter was to get a backlog of pulsating polymer clay, and I really want to start getting more resources out. Now, one thing, again, if you go onto the Omnifactory Discord, you'll find loads of useful information, but one of the things that could be potentially problematic is if I was to take a output from our simulation chamber, say for pristine creeper matter, and just say round robin onto these, it wouldn't work. And I believe this is because the simulation chambers have 2 outputs. They have the pristine X matter and also the overworldian or extraterrestrial or hellish matter there as well. So what we need to do is we need to take our outputs from here, stick them into drawers, which, as you see, I've set up a row of, and then we can pipe directly from the drawers into the simulation chambers, and we'll be able to do round robin because coming directly from the drawers will be one item. So if I had pristine creeper matter in here and I had 3 simulation chambers, 3 loop fabricators set up for that creeper matter, and set that to round robin, because it's just the one item, it will go ponk, 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 and then I can get the multiple things. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. So first things first is, at the moment I've got everything outputting from these simulation chambers underneath. If I just open up one, get my trusty Yeti wrench. It's extracting on cyan, always active. So what I want to do is I want to run some item conduit into my drawer controller and have that extract on cyan. But before I do that, what I need to do is to switch these off, because we're going to temporarily disable our deep mob learning. So that everything starts going through into here. The other thing I'm going to need to do, if I've got enough inventory space, is to grab some, we'll wait for you to build up, because you've got nowhere to go, you can build up as well. Yeah, we're going to need to start grabbing some pristine matter so I can start filling the drawers up. Creeper, blaze. The first one we'll do is we'll pop creeper in there, sorry, blaze in there, witch, spider, creeper. I love the creeper's got the little frowny face on it. Thermal. I said we'll wait for the others to build up, but I need to get some item conduit, which I have, and we'll just run a line from there. Oh, that actually needs to go lower, doesn't it? Otherwise I'll have an ugly hole in the floor. Yes, it definitely needs to be lower. Pop. You here. Go pop. And one there. Let's just go around to here. So that's connected up. Back upstairs. So the purpose of this is, I mean, the thermal elemental model, excuse me, is a classic, because with the thermal elemental we can get multiple items. So if I just go to thermal, see what the uses for this is. We can make saltpeter, could be quite handy. Obsidian dust, that is going to be handy. Snowballs, not too sure about. But blitz rods, basils rods, and blizz rods are all going to be very, very useful in the future. So we want to make sure we're round robin in that through the loot fabricators to get all of that stuff. So we're extracting on cyan. So I want to insert on cyan on this one. So switch that off, insert on cyan, and that will start allowing stuff to go through once I have the relevant stuff. What I could do is just unlock the drawers, and as they go through, that would be probably quicker. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unlock, unlock, unlock. What have that given me? That's given me with a skeleton, ghast, skeleton. Unlock, unlock. Zombie, enderman. Ooh, that must be coming from downstairs. That's interesting. Shulker. And that should be us, is it? No, it should be... I think I calculated that if I had the 16 pristines. $15 pristines. No, I thought it was 16. That just shows I can't count. 15 pristines plus the 3 matters. So that's 18, and there should be 18 of these. So what are we missing? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12. And I haven't got 3 models, which is the Ender Dragon, the Wither, and the Slime. So that's 15. Oh, that's right. Okay, we're spot on. Perfect. Okay. Right, now the fun bit starts. So I want to run a row of item conduits. Bit slapdash at the moment. I'll just run these all in at the moment because probably won't need these 3 because they're just going to be inputs. So let's get rid of those. Okay. Right, so that's my item conduits there, and the last thing I want to do is connect it into our trunk down here. So that should all be connected up nicely. Cool. Right, so these conduits should be doing nothing at the moment. Let's take our first one. This is our blaze. I'm going to clear this recipe out from here because I want, if I take my blaze matter, we've got the use for the blaze is blaze rods, sulfur dust, and magma blocks. So the 2 I really want are blaze rods and sulfur dust. So the first one is doing blaze rods, perfect. So the next one is going to be sulfur dust. So if I find my blaze, which is this one, I'm going to extract you on brown. Excuse me. I'm going to have you to insert on brown. And insert on brown. Take that filter out for the time being. That's red, not brown. That's brown. Take your filter out for the time being. And what we'll be able to do is if I just make sure nothing else is going on there. One of the things I am going to have to do, I'm going to have to find out where this is all connected up and disconnect it from the rest of the network. Because I'm obviously using brown channels, etc., and other places, and that could make it a bit messy, so I really need to put this on a dedicated network. So, extract on brown, round robin enabled, redstone always active. And what I should expect to see is this is doing my sulfur, but this will be doing blaze rods. There you go, and that's now working perfectly. So this should just round robin between 2. If I didn't have a massive amount of sulfur already in the system, so I need to get a drawer upgrade in place on the sulfur drawer, it should just balance between the 2. So let's do the thermal one, and we'll use the machines at the back because we haven't actually set any of these up. So you're going to insert on, let's insert on white. Insert on white. Insert on white. How many is that? 3. And I said for the thermal elemental model, I wanted obsidian. So that's 4. Not sure about saltpeter. What's the use of saltpeter? Making erothium, that's useful. Making gunpowder, not so useful because I can get a creeper to do that straight away. Phytogrow, that might be useful later on. Gunpowder, can electrolyze it into potassium. Potassium could be useful. Chemical reactor with naphtha to make polycaprolactam. I'm not sure what that's for. Apparently it's useful for making polycaprolactam ingots, which are useful for making string. Yeah, that's not really useful at the moment, but that's being said. Who knows what may happen down the line. What else? It said saltpeter. Was there anything else apart from that? It also makes nitrogen and oxygen. So potassium. I'm sure potassium would be useful at some point. Not sure what though. Mote of omnium. So it will be useful later down the line. But for the time being, we'll just do the 4. So that's 3. And we're going to incite you. I don't know if I can go backwards. Yeah, it's quicker that way. On white. So we'll take the extracts off. Put the insert back on. Okay. And that's those done. So the next thing I want to do is find my elemental one. Is that? Yes, that's you. You're going to extract on white. Round robin enabled, always active. What I expect to see, yes, and that's it, it's working perfectly. So, obsidian dust, blitz rods, basil's rods, and blizz rods. So that is working exactly as I'd hope it would. It's doing the job, it's round robin between each of the loot fabricators, and we're getting now things like obsidian dust, which again we can use for petroleum and obsidian rods, and we can electrolyze that to magnesium, which is useful for chrome. That's good to know. Oh, I need not chrome, stainless steel. I need to find a supply of chrome that is other than ruby. Okay, so I will probably between episodes get all of these set up. Now the one thing I'm concerned about is now that we're producing more, is first of all, don't seem to have a problem with our ender pearl production, but I would like to get emeralds set up on my enderman. So it's worth adding that into one of the items, and diamonds as well. So I think what we'll do is we're going to see if we can balance it off the 2 at the moment. So we'll just get those quickly set up. So we've got these 4. This one we're going to insert on, let's do magenta. Insert extract off, because I want to do ender pearls and emeralds. So we'll get magenta in there. And this one, I just want it to be diamonds, because there's not much use for the shulker shells just yet. So it's after magenta. Orange. Insert on orange. So we'll take, what's that? It looks like a wither skeleton. Ghast. Skeleton. Must be on this side. Is right, shulker. I want you to extract on orange. Round robin. Don't need to do round robin because I'm only going to the 1. And enderman. Excuse me. Extract on magenta, round robin, enabled. If I go to these, we'll do ender pearls for you, emeralds for you, and diamonds for you. The only thing I need to then do is get some more drawers and output these all to here. Although I do have drawers for diamonds and ender pearls, So I could just make sure that they are extracting on the right channel, which I think they are actually. Just check. Yes, they are. So I'd set that up in advance, but Emeralds hasn't got a drawer. So let me just see if I can have a spare drawer somewhere for you. And oh, there's just one here. And that should start extracting those as well. So I need to set up additional drawers for the Blizz rods, for Basal's rods, for the Obsidian dust. I need to make sure we've got all the outputs set up, but this seems to be working pretty well. I think this will be a bit of a shorter episode, but we are now in a position where we've got a relatively stable supply of resources from our deep mob learning, and once I've done a few tweaks, we should have a nice array of drawers full of that, which will be available to our crafting system. I think if we look at our quest book, we have done pretty much everything in the beginning. We've done pretty much everything in the early game. We do need to make a HV machine hull, and I do want to get the drill and maybe the vertical digger. I'm not sure about that. The reason I'm holding off on the vertical digger is I really want to get a decent ore processing system in place, and for that I really want to enter the HV tier so that my macerators can get all of the available items from each process. So that's why I've been holding off on the vertical digger. We've got Into the Microverse. Now this could be an interesting chapter. So this is about advanced chemical reactor. It might seem crazy right now, but you want a dedicated chemical reactor for pretty much every chemical you want to process. You probably want to hold off on doing that until you got a solid base of auto crafting though. It stings a lot less when you can just request crafts of chemical reactors from your AE2 system. So if I look at all the different chemicals, I've got hypochlorous acid, methanol, ammonia, dimethylamine, chloramine, 1,1-dimethylhydrazine, and that leads to rocket fuel. Now, rocket fuel is one of the prerequisites for first foray into the microverse. Now, this is Omnifactory's mining, automatic mining function, I believe. So I think in our next episode, I want to do something quite good, which is to get ready for automating the production of rocket fuel, because that's going to be very useful for us down the line. So with a stable base here, what I'll probably do between episodes is I'll get a better crafting grid set up, probably set that up downstairs, and I'll clear out a space and we'll start working on getting our automated rocket fuel setup done. For that, we are going to need a distillation tower, so we'll get one of those made up as well. So yeah, I hope you join me in the next episode. If you like this episode, feel free to give it a like. If you'd like to see more episodes, then please feel free to subscribe. And until then, I hope you have a very pleasant day. Goodbye.